Guys, welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, Sellssi, and we're going to talk about something that is happening right now with the Ghana under 17 teams and my thoughts on Coach Laryea Kingston's resignation, a subsequent follow up or reaction from the FA, and the upcoming story that Ghana could still go into the AFCON under 17. We've seen the developing story since Laryea Kingston last night announced, following Ghana's loss to Burkina Faso in the semi-final, that he is leaving his post as the head coach, and he would subsequently reveal why he is leaving. The FA's response to that and the way forward for us in this one here. As usual, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Click on that notification bell to get more updates. So Laryea Kingston has stepped down as the head coach of the Ghana Black Starlets, a team many people were falling in love with for the very long time. Ghana has been known to produce amazing talent at youth levels. We won the under 17 World Cup. We've been to the final, won it, and been to the final before. Odate Lamte, a star of one of those tournaments. Historically, Ghana has been known to produce great talent. Many people say at the time we were not probably having the MRI test that we currently have to test whether those guys were of that age, but age cheating has more or less reduced in recent times, and it has not been so good for us. We won the under 20 AFCON in 2021. It was a great tournament which brought about the talents like Abdul Fattah Isahaku, Daniel Lefrie Barnier. We also saw Precious Bois. We saw so many youngsters come onto the stage, and then this year it was the turn of the under 17. The under 17 Wafu Zone B competition saw Ghana hosting it, and Laryea Kingston getting his very first coaching gig, international repute with the Ghana Black Starlets. It looked all rosy and great. Unfortunate, they lost their very first game in the under 16 youth development games in Russia. But subsequent games, they were able to win it. We all fell in love with them since then, and we've been hopeful that their development would progress nicely, especially looking at the fact that Laryea Kingston is a man who has been really showing us he's capable of doing the job, and he is to be trusted with this one here. It was great to watch, and I was welcoming to the idea of some form of continuity. Fast forward our first two games, we were quite brilliant, got the necessary 3 points, and then into the knockout phases. It did not go well versus Burkina Faso. I, for one, was of the opinion that this team had not gone behind in this tournament and needed a reaction. Most of the time, you look at the character of a team when they go behind and have to react in a positive way to get a result. Against Burkina Faso, they did that and were able to get back into the game. That was good. But then in the second half, a bit more of physicality, and they were undone. Laryea Kingston has been quite open about his tactics in post-match interviews, which I'm not a big fan of. I still feel that it's not everything you have to divulge into, but he's someone who likes to chat about that. So everyone and what they enjoy doing. And Burkina coach was saying that they had studied the Ghana team. Probably Laryea revealed something in there, but that is not the point. Following that loss, Laryea Kingston came out to say that he is going to resign as the head coach of the Ghana Black Starlets, and it came as a surprise to me because this is his very first coaching gig, and I, for one, felt that this was something he needed to on his learning curve. He needed to learn from this job because let me get this straight. You are the under 17 development coach. There will be bumps in the road. You're expected. It's better you learn from those bumps in the road and then build on that to build your pedigree as a coach or wherever else you want to go to. But I, for one, felt that that resignation was not necessary because it was just a loss. And as we would come to find out later, Ghana were still not out of contention to qualify for the African Cup of Nations, AFCON under 17 next year. A little bit of more of that later on. But it was a bit premature for me. It's almost like leaving kids that look up to you, like a father abandoning his kids, in my opinion. Many people are or the rumor mill is churning out information that Laryea Kingston was, well, players were being pushed down his throat. And that takes me back to the conversation I had with you guys, I think a couple of weeks ago, when Laryea Kingston was being compared to Otuado. He should be the one to take over and all that. I talked about the fact that the interference in the FA or with the Black Stars might be so much for him if he gets there. It might be too much for him and he might not be able to handle it. So he might not be able to deliver as he was delivering at the time. Even with these youth sides, we are still hearing there is interference. And the FA's response was not the best. They released two responses actually. And the juxtapose on your screen right now. Look at the third paragraph difference in responses. I, for one, did not expect the Ghana FA to respond to his resignation. It was not the best of responses, and I still feel they did not need to talk about this in public. Goes to tell you that there was already some friction between the two parties. Winds were papering over those frictions and papering over those cracks that are evident and were bound to come out. Clearly, we have an issue in the FA. First of all, the communications department needs a lot of work to be done. You do not respond to a coach's resignation at his post-match press conference with such language. I don't know what they were intending to do with this response here. Why do you have to respond to that in public on your official website? Why not call the coach in and have a conversation? I doubt if they did that. I really do doubt if they did that. If they did, it still doesn't warrant this response. Laryea Kingston, in my opinion, should not have resigned. This is not the kind of resignation. We needed Chris Hughton to do these kinds of resignations after such shambolic performances. But his team were not shambolic. They fought. They were good. They were just undone by a very, very much more physical Burkina-based side. It is not something you resign over. Unless, of course, there is something more, which the rumor mill is churning out to be an interference in players or players being shoved down his throat or whatever. So, unless that and unless he's someone of principle who cannot work with that, which, in my opinion, he shouldn't have accepted the job to begin with if he saw or felt that that was the case. But to resign now is not right for me. Laryea needs to stay and continue at the helm as the under 17 development coach. He's developing youngsters who are falling in love with the style of play and the way he is teaching them. You could see it clearly from the second game and from the first game that we played. The players are enjoying it. They are youngsters. They'll take some time to get used to his system and they are liking it. It will be great if every youngster in Ghana passes through that system with Laryea Kingston in charge until, of course, he goes on to bigger things before then mentoring someone. I, for one, felt that Laryea did not need to resign. Onto the possibility of Ghana qualifying for the WAFU under 17 AFCON despite losing this semi-final clash. Now, the reports are that the 2025 under 17 World Cup, which will be held in Qatar from 2025 to 2029, will have an expanded 48 teams, which means Africa can get 9 or 10 representatives, which means WAFU Zone D can bring a maximum of 4 and a minimum of 3. Now, the organizers of the WAFU competition are waiting on CAF to officially give out that information. So it's still possible that Ghana will qualify for the AFCON under 17. And Laryea Kingston's resignation, in hindsight now, was pretty much unnecessary in my opinion. I felt it was a bit dramatic. If there were issues that needed to be ironed out, they should have been ironed out. Many reports are coming in that he had resigned long ago. The influences were so much. The FA have to know that if they want coaches to do the job they bring them in to do, they would have to let go of some control, and that includes interference. The earlier the FA get that into their head, the better. But these are my 2 cents on it. I feel like Kingston probably needs to renege on his decisions. Dialogue and conversations might make that possible. The under 17 have struggled in recent times to get some form of continuity. It's not the best if Laryea leaves now. That is my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments box on everything here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend. And congratulations to the Porcupine Warriors, a double over their bitter rivals. They must be in delirium. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great evening.